Good morning, everyone. I'm Peg Ellsworth. I'm the Executive Director of the MARC Project, a regional not-for-profit community and economic development agency, and I serve on the Southern Tier Regional Council. Just a few housekeeping things that we're going to address right now. I want to thank Jenny Rosenzweig and the Roxbury Arts Group for hosting this morning. Then you're off to a wonderful tour of the Roxbury, this phenomenal little gem here in the Catskills, and then off to Union Grove Distillery, another one of our gems. You're getting a real dose of rural Southern Tier today. So thank you so much for coming. I know you notice you might want to turn off your phones, but it does say no service. So there's the Wi-Fi password, however, is 12474138220. If you need it again, just let me know, but I think everyone's already connected. That being said, we're going to turn this over to the panel. And again, thank you for coming, and we'll see you during the rest of the course of the day.
Thank you. Thank you, Peg, for hosting us today. And we are looking forward to a different kind of setting. So this is great. And after this, we'll be walking down the street just a few blocks to the Roxbury Hotel. We've prepared a fairly tight script. We know that we only have 20 to 30 minutes to present and 30 minutes for questions, so we're going to try to keep on schedule as best as we can. It's my pleasure to introduce the team that will be speaking about Southern Tier soaring today. Good morning, Assemblywoman. Thanks for getting here. Glad to see you.
She snuck in, see
She
that?
did. I'm Harvey Stenger, President of Binghamton University. With me today are Tom Tranter, President of Corning Enterprises, and my co-chair for the Southern Tier Regional Economic Development Council. Jason Garner, Broome County Executive, Jennifer Lesko, CEO of the Broome County Urban League, and Kristen Van Horn, Planning Director for Schuyler County, who's representing our Round 2 Downtown Revitalization Initiative community, Watkins Glen. First, we'd like to tell you about our part of New York. You have the slide advancing?
Can I just interrupt you 1 second
Sure.
to make sure that we introduce
Yes, please.
the members of the
Thank you.
SIAT? I mean, I think everybody knows our Commissioner of Department of Labor, Roberta Reardon, who has the most mileage of this panel all over the state. You know, driving. And Brian Stratton from the Canals Corporation, who joined the SIAT this year, Secretary of State, and also Assemblywoman Lapardo, who I guess you all know. So, thank you.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. The Southern Tier has 8 counties. They're home to academic powerhouses, including Cornell and Binghamton University, successful corporations such as Corning Incorporated and Raymond Corporation, and major cultural institutions like Watkins Glen International Raceway and the Corning Museum of Glass. While the region is mostly rural, we also have bustling downtowns. The Southern Tier Regional Economic Development Council has made a clear-eyed assessment of our assets as well as the challenges that continue to face our communities. We saw a decline of our gross regional product this past year. The number of firms decreased, and outward migration still plagues many parts of the region. Affordable childcare remains a barrier to wealth building for many of our families. That said, we have a growing entrepreneurial community as well as a highly educated population. Employment in biomedical, the life sciences, and transportation equipment fields are on the rise. And direct traveler spending has continued to increase. Access to affordable health care has continued its upward trajectory, with fewer individuals uninsured than ever before. Our location and transportation infrastructure help to support strong industry clusters in manufacturing and agriculture. Last fall, Governor Cuomo joined us in Hornell to announce that New York State would be investing $30 million for Alstom Transportation Incorporated to expand their facility and operations, creating nearly 200 jobs in Steuben County and retaining more than 1,000 jobs. Alstom, which employs more than 1,000 people in upstate New York, is a global leader in integrated railway systems, and its rolling stock facility in Hornell has been manufacturing and servicing trains for nearly 150 years. The $66.8 million expansion project entails the renovation of existing space at the Hornell facility, which is already one of the largest passenger rail manufacturing systems and facilities in North America, adding 60,000 square feet of new production and engineering space and 10,000 feet of new track, including 4,000 feet of test track. Tom?
Thank you, Harvey, and good morning again. I'm Tom Tranter from Corning, and I particularly liked your analogy about the most mileage because I've been here from the very beginning, and I'm also the oldest by far on our panel. And so my first 2 years were with David Scorton, and the last 5 I've had the pleasure of working with Harvey. Again, it is nice to be with you and to briefly discuss our region's progress since the REDC started. During the past 6 years, 460 projects have been supported by our council. Through these strategic investments, $276 million in public support has leveraged more than $1.1 billion in private funds for projects throughout the entire Southern Tier. Those projects have created 2,219 jobs and helped to retain more than 16,000 jobs in our region. As you can see, the vast majority of these projects, specifically 84%, are on schedule or have been completed. Some of the projects we pursued have been larger in scope and impact. These 131 priority projects have been supported through Empire State Development grant funds approved by our regional council. Through these initiatives, $194 million in public support has made these projects a reality and leveraged more than $945 million in private funds. Looking at this map, you'll note that the impact of these projects has been felt across the entire 8-county region, which even though we're only 4% of the population, we're one of the largest regions geographically of the 10. The Southern Tier Soaring Plan continues to advance key state priorities, including the Life Sciences Cluster, the Regional Economic Cluster Plans, Global Marketing and Exports, the Regional Opportunity Agenda, the Hotspots and Business Incubators, and veterans' participation in the workforce. We'd like to highlight a few of our most significant achievements in these areas now. As the slide shows, last year our council recommended Elmira as the Southern Tier's Downtown Revitalization Initiative winner. Elmira Refresh, as it is known, builds on a master plan that began 2 years ago that was focused on the downtown. We want to position Elmira as a destination for the region with entertainment, dining, retail, residential, educational institutions, and commercial uses. The city is the anchor for the I-86 Innovation Corridor. Speaking of innovation, the Southern Tier has significant innovation assets in the form of both research and development and a highly educated population that are underutilized in new company formation, commercialization, and tech transfer. By taking a regional approach, it is the primary goal of the Regional Incubator Plan to better leverage existing assets to increase the pace of commercialization and the success rate of startups. To date, Hotspots has connected with over 400 entrepreneurs. In the past year alone, the Southern Tier Hotspot has been seen increased out-of-state investment in Southern Tier companies. In total, the Southern Tier Hotspot has supported fundraising efforts amounting to a total of $15.7 million, which is accounted for 18 separate deals that have been directly impacted or influenced by connections made to the Southern Tier Hotspot. This past summer, we added another facility to our Southern Tier Startup Alliance, the Kaufman Southern Tier Incubator, a 2014 priority project. The incubator is expected to generate a local economic impact of more than $6 million and will provide high-tech infrastructure for up to 12 companies focusing on research and development in energy, microelectronics, and healthcare. Jason?
Good morning, Commissioners, and thanks, Tom and Harvey. Just wanted to quickly say that driving here from Binghamton felt like coming back home. I'm from Greene, New York, a proud agricultural community, but home of one of our region's industrial powerhouses, Raymond Corporation. It was just beautiful driving up here, and as I lost the cell phone access, it reminded me of home. So, I am Jason Garner, Broome County Executive and co-chair of the Southern Tier REDC Greater Binghamton Work Group. I'd like to talk to you about our plan to build an advanced economy for the Southern Tier, which rests on 4 key strategies. We will build the Greater Binghamton innovation ecosystem, invest in the advanced manufacturing industry, transform the food and agriculture industry, and promote the Southern Tier's innovative culture. During the next few minutes, I would like to describe our efforts in each of these areas, as well as our plans to enhance and ensure their success. Our plan to build the Greater Binghamton innovation ecosystem calls for the development of 3 innovation districts that will become drivers of a new advanced economy in Greater Binghamton: the City of Binghamton I District, the Johnson City Health and Cultural District, and the Endicott Advanced Manufacturing I District. We also plan to invest in regional strengths in advanced manufacturing, healthcare, and science, technology, engineering, and STEM education. Finally, our goal is to leverage and support the R&D capabilities of academia and industry in the region, giving Southern Tier companies a competitive edge, attracting new jobs, and creating opportunities for a reinvigorated workforce. One early investment we made in this area is with this summer's announcement of the $20 million Greater Binghamton Fund to facilitate key economic development projects in Binghamton, Johnson City, and Endicott, as outlined in the Southern Tier Plan. The Greater Binghamton Fund will transform these I districts into communities where the next generation of workers want to live, work, and play. The fund will support innovative and creative projects, including mixed use and mixed income developments, private retail and commercial development, and smart growth technologies will be implemented through infrastructure and streetscape improvements. Our region has identified investing in the advanced manufacturing industry as another key priority, one will that allow us to capitalize on our expertise in transportation equipment manufacturing. We will power the growth and development of the advanced manufacturing industry with high levels of R&D and a commitment to innovation and emerging technologies. Our initiatives will ensure that we are continuously recharging the skills pipeline and attracting STEM workers. We will seek to strengthen the advanced manufacturing ecosystem with the projects that receive investments through Southern Tier soaring. And already, we've seen the average annual wage for manufacturing rise by more than 9% since 2012. And dollars spent on R&D have been steadily increasing, with an 8% year-over-year increase this past year alone. Our Round 6 grant to Granite Works exemplifies the Southern Tier's REDC's commitment to working with the manufacturing sector. This project, which included construction of 2 new warehouses, will allow the company to expand their facility and increase production. The Southern Tier Soaring Plan aims to transform the food and agriculture industry. We will develop new technologies to transition the region from being a highly seasonal, occasional provider of food products to a reliable source of supply for the entire East Coast. We are also working to increase the diversity of and access to food processing facilities around the region, including the established industries of dairy and meat packing, along with our new ventures like industrial hemp. We are also working alongside Cornell University and Central and Finger Lakes Regional Councils on a super regional New York food and agricultural challenge for food and agricultural entrepreneurs. One fruitful effort this year was the successful negotiation with Upstate Niagara to purchase the former Kraft Heinz facility in Steuben County, retaining at least 150 jobs and supplanting the need for local dairy. The fourth pillar of the Southern Tier Soaring Plan focuses on promoting the Southern Tier's innovative culture. We plan to develop a brand that will serve as a unifying theme to promote the region's quality of life and capacity for innovation, and ignite a fierce community pride that compels residents to be regional ambassadors. We intend to strengthen the region's tourism and community assets, retain more graduates of the region's colleges, maximize innovation and intellectual capital among private sector and academic institutions, and nurture a critical mass of entrepreneurs. Kristen?
Good morning. I'm Kristen Van Horn. I'm the Director of Planning for Schuyler County, and I'm excited to tell you about our region's Downtown Revitalization Initiative Round 2 plans for the village of Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen defines a walkable and compact community. The boundaries of the DRI, we're choosing to take advantage of this and stretch from our waterfront to the southern boundary of the village. The DRI boundary connects the primary downtown area and transitional district between Franklin Street and Decatur Street to large employers, established residential neighborhoods, and amenities which support and enhance the experience of downtown living, our various cultural attractions, and contribute to the overall quality of life within the village. The village of Watkins Glen has a year-round population of approximately 1,900 people and serves as the primary downtown for over 10,000 residents. With 150 businesses and more than 3 million visitors annually, the village is ripe for investment. One of the unique characteristics of the village is that the entirety of our DRI boundary can be easily accessible within just a 20-minute walk. The businesses and residents within the village are ready.
Even in January?
Even in January, I walk to work and I can still do it. The businesses and residents within the village are ready for progress and sustainable growth. The DRI funding will transform the village into a vibrant year-round community for our residents, workers, and visitors. The vision of the Watkins Glen DRI is to leverage the accessible Seneca Lake waterfront, famous wine trails, vibrant art scene, internationally recognized racetrack with a storied auto racing history, and a world-class state park for progressive community development that retains and enhances our unique character and sustains a year-round prosperous economy that is supported by our community. Over the past 5 years, as a result of the Project Seneca initiative, more than $108 million worth of investment has been made in or around Watkins Glen. The DRI plan will build off projects such as the relocation of our wastewater treatment plant, the local waterfront revitalization plan, the redevelopment of Clute Park, several housing projects to continue to successfully leverage state and local assistance. Each of the recent and proposed projects and related investments fit within the strategic plans of the Southern Tier Regional Economic Development Council, the Southern Tier Central Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, local comprehensive plans, and the Schuyler County Partnership for Economic Development Strategic Framework. The primary goals of the DRI are centered around downtown living, cultural entertainment, economic development, and quality of life. We've developed several supporting strategies to help us achieve not only our vision, but our goals as well. They include the creation of employment within the downtown through co-working and shared office space, the development of housing within the village, including second and third floor apartments, townhouses, condos, and single-family homes, the activation of our empty storefronts through the creation of pop-up spaces, investment in winter recreational amenities, including an outdoor ice rink at Clute Park, the establishment of a facade improvement program, and the development of downtown programming to attract visitors and residents to our downtown area throughout the year. With that, I will turn it over to Jennifer.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Jennifer Lesko. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Broome County Urban League, and I'm also the co-chair of the Southern Tier REDC Work Group, a development work group that I serve with my colleague Jennifer Conway from the Chamber. And I'm going to wrap up our presentation this morning talking about our plans for the coming year. So as you can see from this first slide, the proposed priority projects that we have will touch nearly every county in our region. Included in this year's progress report is a description of 26 projects that we recommend as a priority for our region. The projects represent the potential for $103.2 million in leveraged investment, 348 new jobs, as well as 1,816 retained jobs. These projects also support our key regional priorities as well as those identified by the state. One of the most exciting projects under the proposed priority projects is from Salient Management in Chemung County. This company was founded in 1986, and Salient Management Company specializes in developing computer software. And they developed this software for business performance management solutions. It is based in Horseheads, and this firm provides its services to enterprises in the public and private sectors in 61 countries. The company has approximately 115,000 users and provides the world's most deployable software platform for continuous performance improvement in business as well as in government. This project will allow Salient to purchase a vacant building in downtown Elmira within the Elmira Refresh DRI target area and renovate it to accommodate an increase in company sales and employee growth. This $3.3 million project will retain 130 jobs while helping to revitalize downtown and support smart growth principles. This project will also create 27 new jobs, 10 construction jobs, and retain, as I said, 130 jobs. Another significant proposal comes to us from one of our favorite restaurants in the Southern Tier, Little Venice. This is from Little Venice Restaurant. It's a staple in Binghamton since 1946. And its subsidiary, Little Venice Retail LLC, which sells pasta sauces and dressings using recipes from the Little Venice restaurant. This project looks to expand a local pillar and establish an additional business in Binghamton. Little Venice Retail, they currently use a co-packer to manufacture and bottle its products. And they use this a co-packer that is outside of Broome County. What this project aims to do is build a facility to make and pack the product within Broome County. And currently, there's no such facility that exists within a 60-mile radius. And this would be an opportunity to not only grow this business, but to offer services to businesses in the area that may not have access to those services. Our proposed priority projects in this round also include some exciting new businesses. Southern Tier Hemp LLC, a new Greater Binghamton-based business developing, manufacturing, and selling cannabidiol CBD-based health products. In July of 2017, working with partners at Nanacoke Gardens, ST Hemp planted the first 5 acres of hemp that were just harvested last week. Currently, ST Hemp is acquiring a building which will be completed by the end of October and will locate its corporate headquarters right there. This product will build 2 state-of-the-art processing lines for industrial hemp. The first line will transform the industrial hemp plant into grounds for use in wellness products. These grounds, rich in cannabidiol, can then be extracted using carbon dioxide and proprietary machinery. This process separates the cannabidiol and plant oils from the remainder of the plant. This cannabidiol and plant oils will then be used in the company's wellness product formulations, including not only supplements but also superfoods. This process produces a byproduct that is rich in healthy proteins and digestible fiber, which we can also incorporate into products. We do expect this line to be in place by fall of 2018, in perfect time for that season's harvest. The company is also building a crop processing line for food applications. This line will preserve and separate the various nutrients available in a variety of plants, starting with the industrial hemp. The goal is to incorporate these nutrients and antioxidants into the product suite, and this will maximize the benefit to the customer. Finally, I'd like to mention another significant project in Greater Binghamton that will further support our Binghamton I District. And this is the historic rehabilitation of the former Ansco Camera Factory. This project will rehabilitate this factory into a mixed-use commercial building that will create 100 market-rate apartments and approximately 50,000 square feet of commercial space. Not only is this aligned with the state's priority to support downtown revitalization, as well as our regional priority to invest in the greater Binghamton ecosystem, but it also demonstrates the power of strategic investments to attract further investment from outside of our region. And that concludes our part of the presentation, so we thank you for your attention, and the panel will take any questions that you have.
Great presentation. So why don't we start with Commissioner, do you think you need that?
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to come to this area at this time of year. It is incredibly beautiful, if chilly, but it really is beautiful. Congratulations on living in a really beautiful part of the state. This was a very, very interesting presentation, and I will just cut to the chase. You know, I'm the Commissioner of Labor, so I'm all about workforce development. And I'm reading through your materials. I know that you've done a significant amount of work diving into the issues of workforce development. To be frank, you have very serious challenges. You have a high poverty rate. You have the opiate addiction issues. You have a very high number of young people who don't complete high school. Mm-hmm. And you have a sort of, it's not surprising, the split between academia and people with advanced degrees and people in the rural area is stark. And so my question is, I know you've done a lot of work on this, talk to me about how you want to address these challenges, particularly looking at the Broome County program that I saw in your material. How do you intend to reach into these pockets, huge areas of underemployed and unemployed workers? You're going to need trained workforces for these great projects. We don't want you to import them. So talk me through the steps that you're going to use to address this.
How long do we have?
I know.
No,
This is the elevator speech version, I know.
No, you know, that is a great question. And one of the things I have to say, you know, Broome County, especially the southern tier, has such a wonderful collaborative nature. And we have so many people that are on board with this challenge in an attempt to fix it. And not only with the council, with my colleague Jennifer Conway, we are looking to work with, you know, different school districts, different other nonprofits. We're part of the Anti-Poverty Initiative, and we're looking at also what we've done is brought in individuals that are the hard-to-place worker, individuals currently in poverty, because one of the things we found, and I'm hoping I'm answering your question, we can't really sit there and say what they need to get employed. You know, so we've brought a group in from rural, from city, from different areas in the county to sit with them and say, what do you need? What type of training, what type of support do you need to be able to be placed? And so we've been working on that process for about 8 months, and we do have a lot of great training opportunities to get individuals placed, but then there's those other moving parts, you know, affordable childcare, transportation. So with some of my colleagues and our government officials, we also continue to work on things like providing transportation outside of normal business hours, providing affordable quality childcare after 6 o'clock for those individuals that have to work. So we're starting to, and I think we're starting that process. So that's one of the things that we're working on, and one of the largest partners is Binghamton City School District, which has a very high poverty rate and one of the largest, rates of kids not graduating.
Right, that's great. I congratulate you. I know that going around the state, the issues of transportation and childcare are job killers. Because if you can't get to the job, it doesn't matter if it's there, and if someone can't take care of your child, you can't go to work. So I congratulate you on the work, and I look forward to seeing the results, because maybe we can pattern your success in other parts of the state.
Great, thank you.
There's also some progress with the Dick's Sporting Goods location
Yes.
for transportation. Expecting 600 new jobs
Yep.
at Dick's Warehouse Distribution Center, 3 shifts a day, and how do we get workers there and back? And so Broome County Transit is helping us develop some new routes to that. And it's about 8 miles away from downtown.
Yep.
Thank you.
You ready? Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, co-chairs and members of the REDC. I particularly want to thank President Stenger and President Tranter for that great presentation. I too enjoyed my drive down here from Albany, going into this beautiful region, and was surprised that the southern tier region really stretches so far north. But it was a lovely drive, and it's really nice to be in what would not be the heart of the southern tier, but we're certainly hearing all about it. I'm director of our great New York State Canal Corporation, 524 navigation mile system, and you might not think of the canal when you come into the southern tier, but in fact the canal system reaches all the way to Watkins Glen and to Montour Falls at the very southern end. In fact, we call Montour Falls the Key West of the canal system. It's a lovely spot. So I was very particularly happy to hear about the fact we have yet another canal community in our DRI lineup. So wonderful to hear about Watkins Glen, which joins communities like Oswego, Glens Falls, Batavia, Geneva, all on the canal system. There are others that aren't on the canal system, but it's certainly lovely to hear. And I was also President Tranter. I was also just in Corning on Monday and had a fantastic tour of the Corning Museum of Glass, which is a phenomenal place. And just to give you and your wonderful company a little plug, it was 150 years ago next year, in 1868, that the Corning Company, Corning Glass actually was the Flint Glass Works in Brooklyn, and moved north along the Erie Canal and the Chemung Canal. So next year, Corning Glass Works will be celebrating its 150th celebration with the Glass Barge Tour along the canal. So we are extremely proud of that. And I'll get on.
Portion of it.
What's that?
It's assuming you
I know we are looking for sponsors, so anybody would see the president afterwards. So that's a wonderful thing. So thank you so much. I'll get on with my question. And my question pertains, I guess, would go to our URI community. In DRI community in Watkins Glen. Kristen, obviously, Elmira and Watkins Glen are two very, very different communities. But what can you learn from the success stories within Elmira that you will bring to your DRI plan?
We've already learned so much from the process in Elmira, and one of the things we really learned was getting the community to buy into our project. And last night we had our first community input meeting, and 130 people from Watkins Glen came out for 2 hours and gave us their feedback, their ideas for projects, told us what they were in support of, what they thought, that doesn't make a lot of sense to us, why here? So that we can work that out. And that was something that we learned in Elmira, that it was so important that all of our community members get behind this, and especially in a small town like Watkins, we have to have the community behind it. They have to be able to support it, because they're who's going to work in the businesses. They're going to go out and tell people that they want to live in Watkins, recruit their friends and their family members to come live in Watkins. So that was really a big thing that we learned from Elmira, was getting the community behind it. And we were so excited last night to see 130 people come and share in our enthusiasm for this project.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. I want to also agree that it was a lovely drive, a little bit longer than I had expected, behind a school bus and a truck and a tractor. But I'm delighted to be here. And of course, I have to admit, as they all know, I'm biased toward this group. I do go to as many of these as I can, but this, of course, is my home group. I want to thank you for embracing our new agricultural commodity, industrial hemp. It's been one of my main legislative initiatives, and it's just a delight to see that the Southern Tier has taken it up in this way. Two things. I'd like to hear a little bit more about your agricultural and farming initiatives, and specifically, Harvey, if you could address the relationship between the university and what we're doing in the farming. I know that the group might find it interesting about the pilot research that we're working on, but to what extent is the university engaged with the agricultural community, and a little bit more about that major initiative that is a quarter of what you're working on?
I'll speak into that. Well, a couple of responses to that. First is certainly the Cornell Ag School has a wealth of information, and they're developing the plant science necessary to advance new products that have the ability to grow in the Southern Tier for longer periods of time in controlled environments. So that's one huge emphasis that we're placing. The hemp, though, is an interesting project because it's involving our new School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences. The manufacturing of hemp products, fibrous products, has been around for more than a century. But the extraction of the cannabidiol oils from hemp is important for therapeutic uses as well, and for nutrient uses. What we're doing at Nanticoke Gardens is fairly unique because our School of Pharmacy recognized that if you're going to grow just 5 acres, they should all be exactly the same genetic strain. So every plant comes from the same mother plant. Every seed is from the same individual plant. So this 5 acres will have the same exact genetic makeup in all of its cannabidiol, and we'll be able to make hundreds of pounds of the cannabidiol oil that can then be used in product testing using our School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences. Some of the other hemp installations, I know Morrisville is growing it more to see how much can you grow on an acre, what kind of fibrous products can you make out of it. But the value added of focusing on the oils and using the university as a partner, I think, is critical to the success of this product beyond just its industrial uses right now. There's also the New York Agricultural Food Challenge that we mentioned briefly. I think Jason talked about briefly. And that's involving 3 of our regions. We've got Finger Lakes, Central New York, and Southern Tier involved in that. Share responsibility to come up with a series of, I think they're looking for $20 million, a series of challenges that people can come forward with new product ideas, new processing ideas, new distribution ideas for the products that we grow in the Southern Tier, Central New York, and Finger Lakes. And that'll be one of the first multi-region projects in the REDC history, I think. And I think that will be very successful because there's a lot of great ideas out there that just need a small amount of seed funding to get them to be successful.
So I want to congratulate you also. I also had a pleasant drive, 3 hours from New York City, but beautiful, no traffic, just perfect fall weather and beautiful scenery. I'm interested in how you are dealing with what I refer to as the millennial problem, only because I have 2 living with me at home, but that challenge of keeping millennials in the region post-graduation from the universities and also balancing that with the needs of, the other folks in the region. I'm especially interested since you have such a mix of rural, and that's usually very difficult in terms of keeping the millennials here who are raised here, but also those who go to school here. I know all the regions are struggling with that, and I'd love to hear about your strategy.
The supply is endless of these students as well. We graduate 4,000 students a year. Cornell graduates, I think, close to 6,000 students per year. So 10,000 people who could potentially stay and be productive in the Southern Tier is an enormous number of people compared to the number of jobs that are available and the workforce that we already have. As you know, young people like to live in a cool place. Not cool cold, but cool meaning fun to be at. And so the emphasis on downtown revitalizations, Ithaca certainly is a great college town. Binghamton has been changing its view and increase the amount of opportunities for young people to stay and to enjoy living in downtown Binghamton. But you also need the jobs, and the jobs are created relatively slowly, unfortunately, but the larger employees probably aren't the ones that the students are that interested in. So we've put an emphasis on student entrepreneurs in our incubator. The incubator is 3 stories, about 20,000 square feet. The entire 3rd floor is dedicated to student entrepreneurs. We have several companies that are being launched by students, and then also the internship programs that we can offer to the startup companies in our incubator and the incubators across the region, where students can get just an idea of what it might like to be involved in a very small company, high risk, but high potential for payback intellectually as well as financially if they become a part owner in it. So we've been trying to entice them to stay using the small company approach that you could be an owner, you could be an inventor, you could have a history like a Facebook or like a Google. So why don't you stay here and try to do that? Cost of living is very low. Transportation to New York City is relatively easy, but it's a hard sell. It is a hard sell, and we're working as hard as we can. I think we've done some great things in terms of the entertainment aspects. Our Luma program every summer, where we bring thousands of people downtown to watch us project unique objects, 30,000 people to project on the buildings in downtown Binghamton. I don't know, Jason, if you've got some ideas on keeping young people in the area.
Just to touch on what Harvey talked about. So I'd taken my son, my 10-year-old son, to Luma, and it really is amazing. 30,000 people in downtown Binghamton watching all these massive projections on buildings. But we walked by, we parked a little ways away from downtown, and we walked by the incubator building, which really is this brand new building in downtown Binghamton, and just one of the coolest buildings I have ever seen. So he's 10 years old, and he's walking down. He's like, "What is this?" And I said, "It's our new incubator building." And we're looking around. He's like, "You can draw on the walls. They have the dry erase things and those types of things." It's getting 10-year-olds interested. But I just wanted to talk quickly about a priority project that we had that we talked about earlier in the presentation, this former Ansco Camry factory building. You see, I guess, the rendering here of the proposed building, but what it looks like, right, it is a very old, huge a warehouse, and it's got a huge water tower on top of it. And what they're proposing to do is something that this company has already done in Syracuse. This is going to take this old dilapidated building that's owned by Broome County and turn it into private hands and turn this into just a really, really cool place to live. And I know that millennials really are not, when they immediately graduate from school, they're not buying the $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 homes. They're looking to live in apartments, right? No. I wish they would, but they're not. But these are the places that they're looking at. They're looking at just really cool places to live, and also surrounding this is 50,000 square feet of commercial space. So we hope this is a place where they can absolutely live, work, and play. And this is one of the places that, when Harvey's thousands of graduates graduate from Binghamton University like I did, and many other people that I know have, I want to show them buildings like this and places to live like this in Broome County and throughout the Southern Tier and say, hey, we'll get you a job here, and here's a really cool place to live.
Let me just add, because I've got a little different perspective being from the large company. So we have 5,500 employees in Corning, a growth of about 1,000 employees over the last 4 years. We have a really exceptional, and have had for a long time, intern program. We hire 200 interns every year. We recruit mostly from the regional colleges, including RIT, U of R, SUNY Binghamton, Cornell, and we bring them to Corning. They love Corning for a lot of the reasons that was just stated. They live in the downtown. There's great housing, apartments in particular, upper story apartments, but other things that add to their lifestyle, recreation, the Finger Lakes, places to go in the region, get to easy. We're the employer of choice. But of those interns, we hire more than 50%. And we recruit millennials. I mean, that is the future of Corning. We're a high-tech company, an innovation company. They love working at Sullivan Park, where we have over 2,200 employees, which is our research and development center. Headquarters has another 1,500 employees, and then Diesel has about 1,500 employees. So those jobs are very attractive to these young people, and they come and they stay. So we're a success story with millennials, and you can talk to them. As a matter of fact, I forget who did the ads, but one of the ads that was about millennials has 2 Corning millennials kind of telling their story in 30 seconds. Yeah, it's very effective, I think. The state did a good job. Yeah, how about our millennials themselves?
Well, I am a millennial. And
Do you live at home too?
Not technically. It might be attached to my house, but it's mine. I think that one thing, I'm someone who left the area and came back because I wanted to be part of my community. I saw some really great things happening in Watkins and in Schuyler County. And living in DC, the hustle and bustle and the life there was something that I missed home. I was spending all my vacation time coming to the Southern Tier. So I found coming back here to be a challenge in a sense. But one of the great things we've done in Schuyler and in Watkins is we've started to engage our millennials instead of sort of putting them off to the side as this group that doesn't want to be involved or is any other stereotype of millennials. We've brought them in and we've asked them to sit on boards. Recently we developed the Finger Lakes Gateway Community Development Corporation, and it's an 8-person board, and 6 of us are under the age of 35. Wow. So we're engaging the millennials and getting them involved in the community, and we've seen such great support as a result of that. With our DRI, they're coming out, they're getting involved, they're volunteering. And they're becoming part of the community instead of just sort of being there. And they want to develop businesses. And really where we're coming from, our co-working spaces, we see so many people who could work from anywhere that they don't have to be in DC. They just need to report there a couple of times a year. So they can come live in their community and bring all of that knowledge and their expertise here and share that with all of us. So we're excited to see how that continues to grow and how our DRI helps us really create that vibrant scene that they want to be here and work remotely. So that's what we're doing.
Thank you so much. Commissioner,
I have one last question, and it really goes right to what you were talking about. It is very striking that you have really creative ideas. I've been to the incubator space. It's so exciting, and it's just so cool. And I think that, the thing that's so striking is you've got all this wonderful, new, innovative stuff. And for people who don't feel a part of it, I hope you're engaging the millennials in those efforts and taking young school kids to see the incubator, because that's what flips the switch. And living in I grew up in a rural area in Indiana, and I know what it's like to not feel like you're cool and feel like the big city is somewhere else. I fled screaming into the big city, but you know, to connect those communities is so critical.
Can I just, I just wanted to say, myself and Jennifer Conway, my co-chair, who's president of the chamber, we had been having some conversations that started a while ago, and working with the local businesses and going around to the businesses and going around to the different districts. One of the things we noticed is our businesses need to reflect the kids in our schools and the families in our communities. So what we have started doing, we do a lot of, I know for the Urban League and a lot of our colleagues and partners, we've started doing job shadowing. You know, be an engineer for a day. You know, be a computer programmer for a day, because we really want the kids to stay and realize that they can, you know, grow, graduate, and stay in the community. But that's one thing we noticed, and we started reaching out to some of the businesses, and we have a lot more to do, but we really felt, you know, the businesses and the infrastructure and the folks working and living in the community, the businesses need to reflect the kids and the families that we work with. So that's an initiative that we're working on.
Thank you.
Yep.
So I have a final question. I haven't heard anything about broadband in the region. That's usually the number one complaint we get, but
Well,
how
and
is that
it
going?
is, just ask Peg, right? But we've addressed it. I mean, we had low statistics, okay? So the first initiative was like in round 1 or 2, where Corning put up $10 million. It was matched by 5 counties, and additional private investment, so a total of $20 million, that built out what's called Southern Tier Network, and that is a backbone system throughout the entire 7 counties. And then we also really jumped on and did extremely well. As a matter of fact, we were the highest funded when the broadband funding came out. The one thing we were terribly disappointed in, and they have changed, is they told us to wait, and Time Warner Spectrum was going to pick up some of the areas. We told them they are not. They did not. So we're back for more broadband funding. But I think when you look at the data, and I don't have it in front of me, but I will get it for you, we really have moved the needle on the broadband front, and particularly in the more densely populated areas. It really is done there. It's these rural areas that, you know, are lacking. But Peg, you've had how many, like 4 projects, right? 6, okay.
MTC Cable, who will be at lunch today talking about their broadband expansion. We were not served by Time Warner, so that didn't come into play.
Right, so,
County.
right.
So Delaware County partnered Margaretville Telephone Company, Delhi Telephone Company, and Hancock Telephone Company, 3 of the last remaining independents in the state, partnered with the Delaware County Electric Co-op to expand broadband throughout Delaware County for high-speed internet access to truly unserved, not underserved. This is the last mile. So there are several components of the region that now have high-speed internet access, and miraculously, you'll have cell service when you get to Arkville. Roxbury is still a dead zone, but there's another tower going into Grand Gorge that may connect Roxbury via cell as well. So we've made great strides in the field of broadband in Delaware County.
That's great.
Personally, I want a house in the dead zone.
Can I live there with you?
Yes,
We want to be together in the dead zone.
Thank you so much. This has been wonderful, and I look forward to spending the day with you guys.
Yes.
Thank you.